Do I have to introduce myself in videos for forever? Or do eventually people just care to tune in regardless of an introduction?
I do not apologize unless I think I'm wrong. And if you don't like it, you can leave.
Greetings, good day, and welcome. I'm Deanna, project manager and grants consultant. And today I was asked, do you attend events to build relationships for your clients as well? I'm trying to understand how to do this type of work remotely. You're trying to understand, and I'm gonna try to give you an answer. On today's agenda, we're gonna first find out, is your pitch ready? We're gonna talk about the power of cold emails, how you're gonna make networking your best friend. We're also gonna dive a little bit into the Google search. And as always, we're going to wrap things up with some final thoughts and tips. So let's get things started. And the first question I want to ask you is your pitch ready? Quickly, without giving it a second thought, are you able to talk about your nonprofit organization or business and the work that you do in 60 seconds or less? And do you have an LOI that represents that 60-second response? If you've answered no to one or both of these questions, I'm going to need you to get your pitch ready and your LOI. First and foremost, an LOI, which means letter of intent or letter of inquiry. Sometimes some funders will refer to it as a LOR, which means letter of request. But all of that means is that you have a introductory letter of some sort that describes who you are, what you do, the goals that you're trying to hit, and how that funder can make an investment in order for you to hit those goals. Your LOI will serve as a formal introduction or a pitch to any funder that you're trying to engage with. If you are putting your LOI together or are in need of putting together an LOI, I want you to make sure you have these 4 key components. First, of course, is an introduction. Your LOI should begin with a strong introduction of your organization or business and its mission. This should provide a brief overview of your project and why it matters, specifically why it matters to the funder. Component 2, I want you to make sure you have some details about your project. Include specifics about your project, like your target audience, your objectives, and any expected outcomes. Component number 3, I want you to make sure that you're doing a quick budget overview. That just means that you are detailing to the funder how much you are requesting from them and exactly how you will be utilizing that investment. In addition to highlighting how the funds will be used, I also want you to make sure that you are illustrating the impact of those funds as well. And lastly, your LOI should wrap up with a call to action. That means you're doing something like inviting the funder to further discuss your work, or you are expressing your interest in submitting a full application for them to consider for you to receive funding. Don't just write them a letter and tell them about your organization and there's no response from them or no action for them to take, okay?
Okay!
Now, when we're talking about a pitch, you might not be able to say everything that's in that letter in 60 seconds or less, but you should be able to pull from that letter and create a pitch that covers everything in there in 60 seconds or less. You are engaging with people, talking with people and such. You got to capture their attention about the work that you do and how they can help you make an impact immediately. So get your pitch in order. Having your pitch in order and your LOI ready shows funders that you're prepared and serious about engaging with them and wanting to work with them to create greater impact. And additionally, it's a really great way to make a strong first impression. One topic that I know a lot of people don't like talking about, and I also didn't like it at first until I learned how powerful sending a cold email can actually be. Now, like most people, you might think that sending an unsolicited email to a funder is a shot in the dark, right? But if it is done correctly, it can actually yield some positive results. And when I say do cold emails correctly, I want you to be mindful of these 4 things. I guess 4 is the number of the day, right?
The number of the day is 4.
Number 1, make sure you do your research. What I mean is that start doing your research about the funder. This means that I want you to understand their mission, that I want you to have an idea of the types of projects that they typically support, and to have any knowledge of any recent initiatives or programs and such that they have launched that relates to your work and your mission as well. Second, I want you to make sure that your email email is personalized. When you are sending out this cold email to a funder, make sure it's not something that you are just copy and pasting between different people. Actually tailor it to different projects and stuff that's mentioned on their website. Mention any specifics on like any reports or any like blogs, any posts and such that this funder may have that directly relates to your work, and show that you have taken the time to do your homework to show how that funder's like what they're doing and what they're supporting resonates with you and your work, and how you guys can, you know, come together. 3, and hopefully this one is a little obvious, but make sure your email is clear and concise. Keep it brief, get right to the point. Don't put too much dip on your chip. You do not have to overextend yourself when you are first trying to engage with a donor. If anything, they get a bunch of connections and emails and phone calls and stuff. So the more concise and clear, the better. Quickly introduce yourself and your organization, briefly explain your project, and mention why you believe that project aligns to the funder. And again, just like in your LOI, I want you to make sure that you are wrapping up this email with a call to action. End the email with requesting some sort of further connection with the donor. So whether that be a meeting, whether that be a call, whether that mean even if you're able to like submit a proposal, sometimes they'll just take you to the next step if you take the time to send out an initial email. And though it might be cold, that doesn't mean that eventually the email won't warm up. See what I did there? Now let's talk about how I want you to make networking your best friend. Now, COVID-19 has definitely made networking much more complicated. However, people are back in action or in person now, so there are plenty of conferences and events that you can attend to connect with donors, funders, investors, all of those people. Even if there's not things in person, there are a plethora of webinars, online conferences, and events that you can attend in order to connect with others, to showcase your work further, and to just build up your audience and the people that you are bringing into your organization, and letting them know who you are, what you do, and why they should support you. For example, I was just in Chicago attending the Council on Foundations Building Together 2024 conference. I met and engaged with so many different people with so various backgrounds doing similar work, but in such different spaces and areas of the country. And with that, I was able to not only build connection with funders, but with other people doing philanthropic work as well. If you are looking to attend a conference or an event, I want you to keep these 3 things in mind. First and foremost, make sure you're prepared. Before attending, make sure you do research on the attendees and prepare your elevator pitch. Okay? Okay! Know exactly what it is that you would like to convey about the work that you do, and make sure that you are able to do it in, again, a clear, concise, and compelling way. Number 2, and something that I really had to remind myself that it was the whole purpose of why I was even attending this conference, but it's to engage. Don't be shy. I know, a lot of us are introverts, but try to leave the introvert at the door. Make sure that you are engaging in conversations. Make sure that you are in sessions. Make sure you are just introducing yourself to people. Literally just saying, hi, my name is Deanna. I work for the Mariah Group. I'm a project manager of development. And then we could just continue the conversation from there, and things just naturally carry along. It's hard. I know it's hard, but don't be shy. Try your best not to be shy. This will just allow you to really make meaningful connections and to just expand your network. And number 3, make sure that you are properly showcasing your work. Like I said, have your LOI ready, or maybe you have like a brochure. If your organization or business is on social media, make sure you are sharing your handles. Like, showcase who you are and what you do as much as you possibly can. These conferences, events, and webinars are an excellent opportunity to meet funders face to face, or let's say screen to screen sometimes, and you're able to leave a lasting impression. And this is something that I definitely got to do this week, but also don't forget to follow up on those connections that you made. Don't just collect business cards and then do nothing else with them. Don't do that. Now, last but not least, I want us to talk about the Google search. If someone was to stop and Google your nonprofit organization or business, would they see a valid representation of who you are, what you do, and the impact you create? If your answer is no, I'm gonna need you to change that today, right now. Actually stop what you're doing and go fix that. Outside of the networking and attending conferences and sending emails and such, when people are just curious about your work and curious about what you do, they should be able to sit down and go do and find something that showcases your nonprofit or business effectively and efficiently. Demonstrating the impact of your work is crucial for building funder support. When you do your Google search, I want you to be mindful of these 3 things. First is, do you have impact stories? Make sure that you are sharing stories and testimonies of your beneficiaries from the work that you do. Real life stories and people being able to see who it is that you're impacting and giving a face to the work is monumental when you are trying to build a relationship with any funder. Along with these impact stories, I want you to make sure that you have visuals as well. Make sure you have plenty of action photos, that you are sharing videos, that any content that you're producing, it shows the work that you're doing, it shows your target audience and who it is that you're working with, and it showcases how their lives or how the community has improved because of the work that you brought into the community or into those people's lives. And honestly, visual content is often much more engaging than just writing something out. People's attention spans aren't that long. Sometimes people get tired of
reading and reading and reading.
So having a visual will sometimes put you ahead of the game. And lastly, I want you to make sure that you are being transparent. Make sure that you are honest and open with your funders about how you guys are operating, how money is being utilized, and how far their investment is actually going. You have to make sure that you can show funders that their contributions will be used responsively and effectively. By making sure that you showcase your work in a compelling and transparent way, you can build trust and demonstrate the value of your organization or business, making it easier for funders to support you. Now let's close up with some final thoughts and tips. First and foremost, building strong relationships with funders and different funding agencies is going to take time. Don't rush yourself. Take your time putting together your pitch and setting up that email and getting your LOI in order. And I know it's going to be heavy effort and you're not going to hear yeses immediately, but the rewards are well worth it. And once you just have your work being showcased in a much better way, it'll make it that much easier for funders to see you, to hear you, to connect with you, and to ultimately support you. Now, to keep from repeating myself, second, I want you to take a look at my Chicago vlog. Like, yes, you are traveling with me to Chicago and you see my perspective, but it just shows like how impactful attending a conference really is and how much information you can get from it and just how many connections you can build just from attending this one event. When I say there's so much that I did not record or y'all would have been sitting on that vlog for hours, that's exactly what I mean. But I would not change anything about it. Though it was long and it took up literally my entire day, it was amazing. To say the least. It was a truly impactful experience and I can't wait for my next one. If you're struggling to maintain communication as a remote worker and just trying to figure out what that could look like for you, yes, I do have a video about it, so check the description and make sure you guys check that out as well. And overall, don't be scared to try something new. Like I said, I know we don't like cold emails. I know we are fearful of rejection, but if it's anything that grant writing and grants and development has taught me, is to accept rejection with grace. And though somebody else might not answer me, hopefully the next one will. And in my instance, that's what it's turned out to be. And I didn't let my first rejection keep me from going. And here I am now. Well, would you look at that? You made it to the end of this video. Thanks for watching.
Goodbyes are a bitch. T-shirt idea. Goodbye stink.
As I always say, these videos are inspired by you guys. So if anybody has any questions, any topics you would like me to talk about, make sure to drop that in the comments below. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, bye y'all.